Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. We have some unfortunate news. Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal for UFC 269 next month is off. Apparently, Jorge Masvidal had to pull out with an undisclosed injury. But I really believe, as an MMA fan, you can look at this news and take it as good news. Now, I'm going to get to that in a second, why I think this could be potential good news for us MMA fans. But first off, let me give you my initial reaction to the news. I'm really bummed out. This is a fight that I have personally looked forward to for a long time. I know you guys have looked forward to for a long time, ever since that backstage altercation, all the way back in, I think it was 2018. People have wanted to see Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal, and there was multiple opportunities for the UFC to book it. For whatever reason, they decided not to. I know I made a video about 2 weeks before the official announcement that this fight was being put together for UFC 269. And the video was titled something along the lines of, "Will Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal ever happen?" And the conclusion I came to in the video was no, I thought it would never happen. So a week or two later, when it was announced, I was pleasantly surprised. And now we kind of get showered with this bad news, and now the fight is canceled. So, the UFC again had multiple opportunities to make this fight and just didn't make it. Jorge Masvidal went on to fight Ben Askren, then Nate Diaz. Then he lost to Kamaru Usman twice, won 50-45, won by stoppage. And Leon Edwards kind of had the string of bad lucks, been out. He fought Bilal Muhammad, no contest with the eye poke. Then he beat up Nate Diaz. And when this fight was finally announced, it almost didn't make sense. I mean, it basically didn't make sense other than the storyline, because you have Jorge Masvidal, who's getting up there in age as far as MMA goes. He's coming off two losses to the champion, the current champion, one by stoppage, the other 50-45. And then you have Leon Edwards, who's on this 9-fight winning streak. A lot of people are calling for him to get a title shot. So it's, you look at both fighters, and it's not really, from the grand scheme of the division, it really didn't make sense to book this fight. I mean, I said personally that I was happy to see this fight booked just because I had clamored for it for so long. And then on top of that, while Leon Edwards deserves a title shot, in my opinion, when you look at the division, he still didn't have that staple win over a top 10 guy. And had he gone out there, beat Jorge Masvidal, he'd been on a 10-fight win streak, and at least his last opponent was ranked in the top 10. So then he would have definitely been worthy of a title shot. But it just seems like it's not meant to be. But I really believe, when you look at the welterweight division, and the most active guy is Kamaru Usman, and, he's really just fought everyone in the division at this point. He's fought Colby Covington twice. He's fought Jorge Masvidal twice. He fought Gilbert Burns once. He's just been such an active champion. I mean, he's fought 3 times this year. He fought Burns, Jorge Masvidal, and now Colby Covington all in 1 year. How often do we see a champion defending his belt 3 times? And what I wanted to say about the division, and the point I'm pointing to why Kamaru Usman is so active, is getting to my point of why this may be good news, is because you have at UFC 269, let's say it stays together, and you get Jorge Masvidal versus Leon Edwards. And I know, the MMA world doesn't work like this, but if you look at the fight and you say, a lot of people are picking Leon Edwards. I'm personally picking Leon Edwards in that fight, but I think Jorge Masvidal has a significant chance to win that fight against Leon Edwards. If he hits Leon Edwards the way Nate Diaz hit Leon Edwards in the 5th round, Jorge Masvidal is putting him to sleep. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Jorge Masvidal pulls out the upset over Leon Edwards. And then you look at the division and you start seeing, okay, Kamaru Usman's been so active, he's been beating all these guys. Who's really left? If Leon Edwards loses, you ain't giving Jorge Masvidal a 3rd shot. He's already fought him twice in the last year or so. Colby Covington just lost for the 2nd time. You got Gilbert Burns, who could get his rematch, but he's only won 1 fight since then. So what do you do with the division? I guess you could say Vicente Luque, he's on a decent streak. I know a lot of people are calling for the Khamzat Chimaev fight, but I don't really think he's earned that yet himself. So the division would just be in a very strange place if that fight took place and Jorge Masvidal came off with the upset. Now, the point I was getting to about the good news, and that's part of it right there, but the point I was getting to is if you look at this fight now, it's off, okay? Now, what can the UFC do now that this fight is canceled? And I think the best thing they can do, Kamaru Usman likes to stay active. I know he wants some time off, but still, he can take off till spring, and it's still not that far away. I think the UFC should book Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards too. They fought before Kamaru Usman was champion. Leon Edwards gets his deserved title shot. He's on a 9-fight win streak. And then a fight that has been more clamored for than Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal. I think the UFC should book Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. And, I think a lot of people want to see this fight. There's the whole friendship storyline. I personally, that's kind of like a fake beef, in my opinion. But there's no doubt people want to see it. And there's no doubt that people would be more excited for a potential matchup between Covington and Masvidal than they would be for a fight of Masvidal versus Edwards. There's no doubt in that. And then it's not like even if Jorge Masvidal loses that fight, and let's say Kamaru Usman beats Leon Edwards, you can still match those two up. So then the next fight can be Masvidal versus Leon, and both of them are coming off with losses. So, we can really look at this as good news. We can get some great matchups, and we can still, and I hope, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but we can still hope that down the line we get Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I wanted to look on the bright side of this, and this was the first thing I thought of. Back on Saturday night, if you follow me on Twitter, I tweeted out UFC should cancel Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal. They should book Usman versus Edwards and Covington versus Masvidal. And the UFC knows that fight would sell more. They could put it on as a co-main event of a pay-per-view, or maybe on a big ESPN card and draw in some people to watch that. So it really could make sense for everyone, and I know us fans would personally love it. As sad as I am to lose out on Leon Edwards versus Masvidal, I wouldn't be all that sad if we got Masvidal versus Covington. Covington needs some time off after UFC 268. He was hurt badly, got beat up quite a bit, and they could potentially be on the same timeline. Maybe Masvidal doesn't want to return till early summer of 2022. Covington could be on that same timeline. I mean, he only fought once in the last 2 years up until the Kamaru Usman title shot. He only fought Tyron Woodley after losing back at UFC 245. So, guys, let me know what you think. Am I looking, at the silver lining too much here? I think this can turn out to be a great thing, but we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video.